Welcome to the October 13th edition of Newswatch. In our top stories, we have some video of Bill Clinton's visit to Starbucks in Campustown.
We've also got the story and some footage of Waka Flocka Flame's performance in Ames Tuesday night.
I'll preview Iowa State's football match against the Texas Longhorns and give you an update on George Niang.
And I'll let you know when these 40s are going to start turning into 70s and 80s. Stay tuned. Watch starts now.
Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your night and week. Stay classy, Cyclones.
Students walking by Morrill Hall might notice a stark difference. That's because the panther and deer sculptures surrounding the area in what is known as the Anderson Sculpture Garden have been removed. The sculptures were on loan from their creator, sculptor Gwen Morrill. The art will be returned to her home in California. Some good news, the ram on the south side of Morrill Hall was donated by Morrill to the university. It will remain in its current location until next spring.
With next week being ISU's Coming Out Week, LGBTQ student organizations are holding special events to prepare. Today from 2 to 10 p.m., the LGBT Faculty and Staff Association and the LGBT Student Services Center are hosting an event to raise awareness and celebrate the coming out process. Those who are interested in attending are invited to stop by the workspace to make a simple rainbow necklace with clustered jump rings. Whether you identify as LGBTQ or are simply just an ally, LGBT Student Services encourage students to show support for an inclusive world where individuals can live truthfully and openly. There is still time to drop in today until 10.
Bill Clinton paid a surprise visit to the Starbucks across from the Memorial Union on Wednesday in Ames. Clinton stopped by for an hour, met with students, ordered a venti cup of black coffee. Large crowds of students gathered outside the Starbucks after word spread about Clinton's arrival. People had the opportunity to take selfies with the former president and to chat about the election. Bill Clinton is currently traveling across Iowa to campaign for his wife Hillary and to encourage Iowans to vote early.
Malcolm Nance will be speaking on the dynamics of ISIS in the Great Hall of the Memorial Union next Monday, October 17th. Nance is a counter-terrorism and intelligence advisor for the U.S. government's Special Operations, Homeland Security, and Intelligence agencies. He has eyewitnessed numerous terrorist incidents and participated in response operations. He is currently the executive director of the Terror Asymmetrics Project in Strategy, Tactics, and Radical Ideologies in Hudson, New York. He conceptualized and implemented the Advanced Terrorism Abduction and Hostage Survival School in Resisting Torture, Exploitation, and Escaping Terrorist Captivity from 1997 to 2001. The lecture is set to begin at 7 p.m.
3 students are petitioning to have an American Sign Language minor added to the course of programs. Brittany Mees, Brianna Recker, and Abby Crimmins believe that the university lacks options for American Sign Language and the growing deaf community in Ames. This is despite the popularity of the classes. The 3 women are hoping to garner at least 300 signatures before November, when the idea will be pitched to the curriculum committee. The numbers currently stand at 200, and an online petition is said to be in the works.
Greater Des Moines is expected to grow to almost 1 million residents by the year 2040. The American City Business Bureau projects Des Moines population growth to happen at a 1.5% increase in the next couple of decades. The Des Moines Area Planning Organization projected last year that the city would reach 750,000 residents by 2050. Des Moines is expected to be the fastest growing city in Iowa. Ames actually ranks as 3rd fastest in the state for growth.
Even though it's been over a week since rapper Drake's performance at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, he continues to show love for his namesake university. His personal trainer posted a photo of Drake wearing a Drake Pharmacy sweatshirt on Wednesday. In the picture is a bulldog, the mascot of Drake University. Drake was given lots of Drake apparel, including a custom leather jacket and a basketball jersey. Drake University has posted a link to that specific sweatshirt in their online store on social media. It is being sold for $39.95.
The Haunted Forest here in Ames has undergone changes this year to prepare for the upcoming Halloween season. The biggest alteration is the addition of more space. Since its first opened in 1999, the forest is now about 20% longer. Due to the location of the forest, new sets and paths are created each year. This way, the experience for visitors is different each time they come. Despite the changes, the haunting experience remains the same each year. The Haunted Forest opened Friday, October 7th, and will be open every weekend for the rest of this month. It is open this weekend, Friday and Saturday, from 7 to 11 p.m., and the following 2 weekends in October from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m., with admissions being $15.
Waka Flocka Flame performed at the Hanson Student Agriculture Center Tuesday night. Doors opened at 7 p.m. and tickets were $20 with a student ID and $32 to the public. Waka Flocka had two openers, Narada Cerruti and Mike Floss. Members of the Student Union Board had warned students if they did not stop pushing, they would cancel the show before it even started. The barriers could have possibly caved in if the crowd kept pushing and become a major safety hazard. After the two openers performed, Waka Flocka Flame came out and performed for about half an hour until they eventually had to end the show early due to pushing. This was the first show in 10 years that Waka Flocka Flame had been canceled due to the crowd being too rowdy. Coming up after the break, more reports of inappropriate conduct by Republican nominee Donald Trump.
And Ronald McDonald will be taking a break as mascot of McDonald's in light of the clown developments.
We've got that and more after this. Donald Trump lied during the second presidential debate when he said he has never violated women like he described in a 2005 recording. In the 2005 tape, Trump is heard describing women in an inappropriate manner to Access Hollywood host Billy Bush. Trump has attempted to dismiss these comments by calling it locker room talk. At least 5 women have come forward and contradicted Trump's denial with stories of sexual and aggressive advances made upon them by Trump. One woman said that Trump violated her on a plane 3 decades ago, and the 2 other women said Trump inappropriately kissed them at their first meeting. The Trump campaign has denied these reports and threatened legal action against the New York Times, who published these claims.
Singer-songwriter Bob Dylan has been awarded the 2016 Nobel Prize in Literature. This came as a surprise to some, but the Nobel Committee defended its decision by saying, as an artist, he is strikingly versatile, and attributed this year's award to Dylan's influence on topics such as religion, politics, and love. Since the 1960s, the 75-year-old has won a plethora of awards, including 10 Grammys, a Golden Globe, an Academy Award, and a Pulitzer Prize special citation. Dylan becomes the 108th recipient of literature's most illustrious honor.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered all of the country's officials and their relatives living abroad to fly back to Russia. Failure to do so could put future chances of promotion at risk. This reportedly comes after worsening relations between Russia and the United States over the Syrian crisis. Putin canceled a visit to France after being confronted about Moscow's role in the Syrian conflict. It has been reported that the Kremlin has moved nuclear missiles closer to the Polish border. Former Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev has warned that the world is currently a dangerous point.
The King of Thailand has passed away at the age of 88. King Humabol Adulade was pronounced dead this morning at Siraja Hospital in Bangkok. He was the world's longest reigning monarch, ruling since 1946 at the age of 18. Humabol, however, was hospitalized for the majority of the last decade with kidney and lung-related illnesses. Thailand's prime minister has urged the Thai people to abstain from any public festivities for 30 days as the country pays respect to the highly revered king. No official cause of death has been announced at this time.
2 Boston police officers are clinging to life after a man wearing body armor and armed with a tactical shotgun shot at them multiple times late Wednesday night. The suspect was identified as 33-year-old Kirk Figueroa, who exchanged fire with officers at an East Boston home. The officers shot and killed Figueroa and then began giving first aid to the wounded officers. 27-year veteran Richard Sintolo and 12-year veteran Matt Morris have underwent surgery at Massachusetts General Hospital for serious injuries.
Japanese artist Mei Chiyo Yasuda is being remembered after her death for her work with animator Hayao Miyazaki. Her work with Miyazaki includes the anime film Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, in Howl's Moving Castle. Her work on Spirited Away helped the film win an Oscar for Best Animated Feature in 2003. Yasuda was responsible for adding color to the films she worked on. She was once quoted as saying, "Color has a meaning and it makes the film more easily understood. Colors in pictures can enhance what the situation is on screen." She was 77.
Boko Haram has released 21 Chibok girls from captivity earlier today. According to the Nigerian government, the girls were freed just before dawn near the borders of Nigeria and Cameroon. The girls were among the 276 girls and women that were abducted from a Nigerian boarding school back in April of 2014. Reports indicate that their release was part of a deal that saw 4 government-detained leaders of Boko Haram freeing Wednesday morning. Nearly 200 girls are still unaccounted for.
McDonald's has announced Monday that their famous mascot, Ronald McDonald, will be limiting his appearances. McDonald's and its franchisees cite recent clown sightings across the country as the reason behind their decision. In the last week, there have been numerous reports of people dressed as clowns wielding weapons or attempting to lure children into wooded areas. Since his debut in 1963, the man known for his red hair and matching red nose has been an international icon for the fast food giant, but will take some time out of the spotlight as the country deals with this new clown sighting issue.
A Chicago disability rights group has issued a lawsuit against San Francisco-based company Uber. The 19-page lawsuit claims that Uber does not comply with the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act because there are not enough stable number of wheelchair-accessible vehicles. A spokesperson for Uber has said that Uber is committed to increasing mobility and freedom for all riders and drivers. Uber provided nearly 2 million rides in Chicago in June of last year alone, but gave only 14 rides to wheelchair-bound people in Chicago in a 4-year period.
After the break, we'll have Garrett Kroeger at the desk with your sports report.
You're watching Newswatch.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Garrett Kroeger, and this is your sports update. After a second straight late game collapse, Iowa State will look to reverse its misfortunes this Saturday as the team travels to Austin, Texas to take on the Texas Longhorns. Coming into the game, the Cyclones are 1-5, while the Longhorns are 2-3. If Iowa State wants to beat Texas, it will have to stop the Longhorns' rushing attack, as it is the number 18 rushing offense in the nation. That could be a tough task for the Cyclones as they possess the 115th of 128 teams rushing defense in the country. The game will be televised exclusively on the Longhorn Network and Cyclones.tv at 6 p.m. If you need plans this Friday night, Cyclone hockey will be taking on Lindenwood in a rematch of last year's national championship game. Last year, Iowa State lost to Lindenwood 2-1 in the title bout. However, this time around, the Cyclones aren't about to let this one slip away. This matchup has number 1 Iowa State pitted against number 6 Lindenwood. If you can't make it to the game, or if you don't want to be out in the cold, have no fear, this game will be televised on ESPN3. George Niang and the Pacers will take the floor again as they travel this Friday night to take on the Orlando Magic at 6 p.m. The NBA preseason started last week, and every Iowa State fans were locked and loaded on the former Cyclone. This past summer, Niang was drafted 50th overall by the Indiana Pacers, and through 4 games of play, he has not disappointed. The Iowa State great has averaged 8.3 points and 3.5 rebounds per game. The NHL kicked off its season last night, and the talk of the town was Toronto rookie Austin Matthews. The 19-year-old from Scottsdale, Arizona, was chosen first overall in June's NHL draft, scored on his first 3 shots against the Ottawa Senators. The Maple Leaf rookie finished the night with an NHL rookie record 4 goals as Toronto lost 5-4 to Ottawa in overtime. In some not-so-great news, Houston Rockets guard Bobby Brown is under fire for an autograph he signed on the Great Wall of China. Brown and the Rockets were on a sightseeing tour while in the country for NBA's Global Game China. He wrote his name on the 2,000-year-old wall and posted images of the defacing to a blog site. He quickly received a backlash from Chinese citizens, one user telling Brown that the wall is not the toilet of your home. The original post was later deleted, but Brown has asked for forgiveness. The Palestinian Football Association has again called for FIFA, the governing body of world football, to ban Israeli club teams from playing matches in the occupied West Bank. Reports from Al Jazeera state that there are 6 Israeli clubs based in Palestinian territories, which is considered illegal under international law. FIFA President Gianni Infantino said last week that this issue is a top priority for him. FIFA is expected to discuss this issue at their next executive meeting set to be held tomorrow. That's all I have in the world of sports, but we have Jan at the weather wall. Jan, will these cold temperatures stick around?
Well, today we only got into the upper 50s, but take a look at this as we go on through the next few days, heating up 60s, 70s, and even 80 by Monday. I'll have your full weather report after the break.
How does she do that?
Still holding on at 50 degrees, a little warmer over there. Up into the next few days. So right now, mostly clear across the state, so gonna cool off that radiation point tonight. But as we go on. In terms of precipitation for us, so no rain for the next few days, maybe a sprinkle or two on Saturday as we go on through the morning there, but nothing too much to worry about. So it looks to be a great next few days, and like I said, warming up as we go. But first tonight, we are going to dip back down into those 30s, looking like 35 here in Des Moines, or here in Ames, sorry. And then as we go for the rest of the day tomorrow, we're looking at 60s, so heating up, and then 70s as we get into the weekend. Here in Ames tomorrow, looking at 65, getting more clouds as we go through the day. Looking at Saturday, like I said, a very nice day, looking at low 70s for a Saturday. And then if you are lucky enough to be going down to Texas for the Iowa State game, looking like 84 for a kickoff temperature down there, so nice and warm down there for the football game. Taking a look at the next 7 days, like I said, maybe a chance for a few sprinkles on Saturday morning, but taking a look, Monday looking like 80, looks to be great. Then we start cooling back down again, 73 Tuesday, 65 Wednesday, 60s on Thursday, but plentiful sunshine in that forecast. Stay tuned, more news after the break.
Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip will be celebrating their 70th anniversary next year. Although advisors once warned the then Princess Elizabeth not to marry Philip because of his crude sense of humor, they believed it would be a terrible mismatch with the diligent and reserved princess and the loud and boisterous naval office. The jokes that Philip made were said to be appropriate for the Navy, but not for the years of young women, let alone a queen-to-be.
Country Club in Adel, Iowa had some unexpected guests come this morning without setting up tee times. A herd of cows overtook the course, making it impossible for the golfers to play. A cattle drive using a golf cart and a truck was conducted to force the cows out of the green. Once the cows were across the road, their own took the herding reins. Luckily, minimal difference was done to the course.
NASA discovered that there are 10 times more galaxies in our universe than we had previously estimated. Turns out there aren't 200 billion galaxies in the universe, there are actually 2 trillion. This discovery is possible thanks to the Hubble telescope and new images of our universe. By comparing these new images of the galaxies to old Hubble photos, NASA concluded that more than 90% of the galaxies can't be seen by even the most powerful telescopes because they are too faint or too far away. Thankfully, a new, bigger and better telescope is in the works and should be ready by the end of the year.
People are getting creative with their jack-o'-lanterns this year. Carving artist Hugh McMahon carved Donald Trump's likeness into a pumpkin last year, and it has taken off. These pumpkins range from an almost matched to so ridiculous you almost can't recognize who it is. Variations include Trump's features carved into the pumpkin or simply adding a blonde toupee to the top of a regular jack-o'-lantern. It's a way to have Trump on your lawn without the big yard sign and might succeed in scaring kids.
That's all we have for Newswatch today.
Be sure to stick around for Ames Tonight after this And tune in next week for more news, weather, and sports.
And as always, go Cyclones!